feel like I'm a little bit all over the place. Everything that has already been discussed, I resonate with 1,000%. I've been on this internal growth journey for quite a while now, and I have been really focusing on manifestation. So really my question is, when following one's highest excitement, passion, purpose, and mine has always been collaborating and creating community and helping people and expanding all of those things. But I got caught in this sort of money pit, let's just call it that, where I was stuck and could not get out of a need for money because I wasn't manifesting it, or I started manifesting it and then it stopped. And so my question is actually more about how to stay in this flow, because what I have found is that I get into this flow and start going and it manifests and everything goes really well. And then all of a sudden it like peters out. It's the best way I can put it. And then I feel like, okay, I need to regroup, start again. And once the whole UNN and the projects and all of that came to be, my husband and I created this massive project, and it's all about creating community around growing food, etc. And then it was like, it was put on the shelf because, needless to say, we didn't have the money. And so then it was always like, oh, okay, we're waiting for this to get off the ground. And you have so brilliantly explained how when you're waiting for that, it never manifests. So I've also gone off in different directions. But I just guess my question is more about sustaining this, or is it that we, all need to keep working on it all the time? It's not like you can just let it, start and then go, okay, I'm in it, and then you're fine. Does that make any sense to you?
It makes a ton of sense. And this is a great question, Brooke. So I want to mention something. So there is a state where abundance can be sustained all of the time. Okay, I want to be clear about that. Now, this may not be in your subconscious at this moment in time. And so you're seeing this wave where it's like money's coming in, money's going out. It's faster than it's coming in. It's not coming in anymore. What happened? Then you're like, I need the money, right? So one thing you can do is always examine your beliefs around money. But the thing that and we probably don't have time to do in today's show, but one thing I just wanted to go back to is that you don't want to be attached to the source where money comes from, because
never.
I gotta say, and I can speak brilliantly, like my own experience of this. So my wife and I were planning this big trip, November, December, and then we were going to go out skiing in Idaho. We downhill ski. And I had so many different potential sales coming in that I thought, this is going to be amazing. We had about 60,000 coming in, and I thought we're going to book this trip. Nothing happened. And I was like, wow. So I had a few people, family members say, oh, you didn't book the trip. And I said, well, 60,000 vanished. So I wasn't able to go on this trip. And I'll tell you the valuable experience I learned. And it's so like serendipitous that we're talking about this right now, is that during that time, I was focused on the money coming from a very specific source. I would visualize that source. It was very specific. And that was the problem, because there was another tap of money that could have been falling into my lap at that time that was not. So I get to Christmas, money's tight, New Year comes, and all of a sudden I had reached out to this other client I mentioned at the beginning of the show, and the clients from her start coming in. And they were coming in so fast, I didn't even know what to do with them. And I was like, oh my God, it was there the whole time. But I had blinders on. I was so focused on this one source that I was missing this whole other source of income, revenue, abundance. That's why I'm saying if you're depending on care for money, then you still haven't understood that It's not about an attachment to the outcome or an insistent that it comes from one spot. Now, here's the brilliant part of this whole way that this planet and this reality is designed. As soon as I started focusing on the other income, I would do it differently. I wouldn't visualize, oh, the money is coming from this specific woman in this way. I would visualize and experience the feeling of abundance. And this is very easy to do. You can do it while you're daydreaming. You can do it in the morning. Just abundance. I would see money in my bank account, but just abundance. And this is what happens. All I'm doing is that I'm working with this new woman. The old guy where the sales had been like disappeared, those started coming in too. So what I can tell you is that if you just stay general, and I talk about this in my book, Brooke, I talk about this in my book about staying general. Don't get too fixated on like something specific. You will never go wrong if you stay general. Just stay in that state of abundance. You will feel a sense of expansion in your chest. You will feel like you feel expanded. If you get in that state, and then, the outcome can be money, just play with that for a week or two and see where you end up. At some point, what will happen is you trust in this idea of the creator, right, Brooke? I'm assuming you do?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. What happened when the money stopped showing up is that you stopped trusting in that and you started trusting in the past. When times where you didn't have money. That's all that happened. Your focus went from, okay, I trust that there's a creator. I trust there's abundance. I trust that God or some sort of divine source will bring this money. It's an extension of me. The money is coming. And then what you did is money came in. And then money didn't come in. And then you're like, oh, I remember that time like 4 years ago when we had this and it really sucked. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then you started trusting in that. It's not that you stopped trusting. It's you started trusting in a different idea. Is that helpful?
Got it. Oh, very helpful. No, I so appreciate it. Thank you so much, Steve.